So yesterday somebody over at Red Bull posted a brand new 6-hour hands-on preview about some very hilarious gameplay in Red Dead Redemption 2. If you want to go ahead and check it out, I'll leave a link in the description box, and there is some very nice, cool gameplay in there, as well as no story spoilers, so you're pretty much in the clear. But from the preview itself, we'll learn a few more things about the gameplay, especially the boat gameplay, hunting bears, the fact that alligators have and can tend to their own babies, what happens when you get poisoned by a snake, and so on, and we will cover all of this in this video. There's also some technical details in there as well, and I will be covering them later on. But first and foremost, I'll start with the boat gameplay, and we kinda already knew that boats are rideable in Red Dead Redemption 2, as you can even see Arthur using a canoe like down the river in one of the recent gameplay videos. According to the article itself, there is a massive lake in the game, which I won't be naming for spoilers reasons of course, but it's very busy. It's filled with all sorts of boats, paddle streamers, and even large vessels. Since they are all vehicle types in this game, you can of course steal them from others and even throw them off their boats. In one of the scenes, the player stole a canoe and tried riding it across the vast lake to reach the other side, but unfortunately this was not possible as the boat started sinking somewhere halfway with no apparent reason, which could mean like two things. Either the boat itself had a hole in it and got filled with water, or there was a mechanic in the game similar to the one in GTA 5 that restricts you from going further on into the water if you're using a boat. So for example, in GTA 5, if you ventured too far into the ocean by using a boat, it would eventually start sinking with no real reason, as you would get closer and closer to the edge of the map. The reason I find this interesting is that Red Dead Redemption 2 also contains the map in the first game, and going by what was reported by Rockstar Games themselves, there isn't any restriction in the game whatsoever. So this might be a possibility that there's more to the boat gameplay than, you know, just paddling it in the water. It might be that small boats cannot handle waters with huge waves and like a lot of traffic. They might get damaged in the process, which kind of sounds in tune with what we have found out about this game so far, as it tends to go a little bit overboard on the realistic side. So that's what I'm fully expecting for boats to be able to sink from some sort of damage or from getting too much water in it. Like for example, let's say a huge wave crashes into you, fills your boat with water, especially something like a canoe, and it pretty much just sinks with you as well. And yeah, that's what I'm fully expecting. By the way, as we're talking about sinking and drowning, if you're going with your horse in the water, you already know it can swim, but eventually it will run out of stamina, which in turn will make it lose health, and that means it's probably going to drown and die. We also get to learn what happens when Arthur gets bitten by a snake, and just like you would expect, he gets poisoned, and that is an effect that can last for a very long time. In fact, in order to take it off, you will most probably need to find some necessary herbs to do this, otherwise you can kinda wait it out and eventually it will expire and not affect you anymore, but probably that is not really advisable, as from the report itself it can take a very long time for that to happen, and yeah, this is something that you're probably not going to want to have on yourself. Speaking of creatures, we also get to learn that alligators can lay eggs, and not only that, they can also hatch into small baby alligators, and the mother will take care of them fearlessly. If you happen to roam the swamplands, you'll most probably encounter an alligator mother taking care of her children at some point. The cool part about this is that you can actually steal the alligator eggs and even sell them for quite a hefty amount of profit. Apparently, they sell for somewhere around $2.50, which is a hefty sum for those times. So if you happen to find like a whole nest of eggs, you're probably looking for a very nice source of profit. it. This also raises the question if you can do anything with the baby gators as well, outside of just killing and taking their skins. So yeah, I guess we'll wait and see how that plans out. Coming up next, we have the bear interaction, and it goes pretty much as you would expect. It seems that simply shooting the bear in the head with your arrow might not be enough to put the animal down, and unless you pull a perfect shot, you might anger the animal even more, which means you're going to get mauled even more viciously. Even shooting the bear several times might not be enough to take it down, as it proves to be very resilient and it can take some of the bullets head on without any problem. I'm also hearing that the animal behavior changes depending on seasons. This was something said during like a previous interview, which kind of raises the question, are there seasons in Red Dead Redemption 2? Did we miss this out? Because I haven't seen anybody talking about this. I didn't see any footage comparing, something like seasons, and I'm pretty sure the map of Red Dead Redemption 2 was pretty much in the same kind of season in every trailer or gameplay video that was shown thus far. And yeah, I'm not really sure what to make of this. This was reported in a different article, by the way, which was subsequently taken down since then. But if we have that in Red Dead Redemption 2, it sounds amazing, though I wouldn't hold my hopes too high. Probably something story related, or probably it takes into account the environment you're in. So for example, if you encounter a bear in, let's say, the mountain region, it would consider it hibernating and thus being in a different season compared to if you, for example, find it in the woods somewhere in the Greenlands or whatever. But I don't think there's full seasons in the game, but I would be gladly wrong on this one. We also get a few details about certain mechanics. For example, for the wanted level, if you commit a crime, you get a wanted level, as you know, in the corner of the screen. The indicator over there has more than one purpose, and once you break line of sight with law enforcement, if you go into hiding, the sign itself starts pulsating and even changing colors, and if you manage to stay away until the ward itself is drained, you will lose the wanted level itself. So a nice little UI indication that you can make use of, and it sounds pretty interesting. I just wanted to put it out there because it's so simple. We also get to learn that selecting a weapon slot and cycling through the weapon wheel is done by tapping L2 and R2, and pressing R1 on your controller will switch to your inventory instead. Well, if you want to access stuff like tonics, foods, the campfire, and your other gear. And that is pretty much, everything when it comes to this article. There are some nice little details, and the article itself is quite hilarious to read. I'll suggest you go ahead and check it out. I'm going to leave a link in the description box, and it pretty much goes from the perspective of your average player who just jumps into the game, does some of the most random stuff they can do, and that is exactly what happens here. Nothing too much story related, I think only like the beginning paragraph, but even that doesn't go into spoilers territory, and pretty cool stuff. In the meantime, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to aim that like button. Also subscribe to the channel for more awesome content such as this, and I will see you guys in the next one. So peace out.